Do you want to know why? Is
No,
that what
I don't.
Oh, okay. Jeez.
You find this very humorous, do you, Miss Bondi?
No, your answer was interesting.
And you're a physical therapist assistant? Is that, do I understand your expertise?
That's one of my expertise.
Ashley Hoffstra versus Kyle Wilson.
Thank you, Judge Elliott Blumberg, on behalf of Ashley Hoffstra, who is appearing from my office.
Good afternoon, Judge. Brooke Robinson appearing on behalf of the defendant, Kyle Wilson, who is also here in my office.
This is the date and time set for a Novo review after an objection to the referee's recommendation on parenting time. We have any preliminary matters, counsel?
Judge, I guess I just would like to clarify our position so we can use our time today most efficiently. We objected to certain parts of the recommendation made by the referee, and specifically the parenting time schedule that he laid out, which anticipated things would be going smoothly, or at least there's no provisions within the scheduled parenting time that he suggested for any review of any improvements in Mr. Wilson's emotional state and behavior. Again, the court, I believe, reviewed the video that was really the linchpin to the motion that was filed before the referee. Mr. Wilson was ordered in February to have a psychological evaluation. That psychological evaluation suggested the existence of a safety plan, which we've never been provided. So we're hoping at least today to be able to hear from Mr. Wilson to tell us about the safety plan. Also, we are calling Catherine Mcmasters from Old Town Psychological, who is the young child's counselor. She would hopefully be able to provide the court with some insight into the concerns of the young child and whether or not overnight parenting time is appropriate at this point, and also whether parenting time which has been supervised should continue or not. Under referee legal's recommendation, as of August 1st, parenting time is supposed to be unsupervised. So those are really the issues that we're hoping to address today in this de novo hearing.
Ms. Robinson, any objection to that procedure?
No, Your Honor, I have no objection to that.
All right, Mr. Blumberg, call your first witness.
Is Katie Mcmasters, is she logged in?
Catherine Mcmasters.
All right, Ms. Mcmasters, thank you very much. You've been requested by Mr. Blumberg to be a witness, is that correct?
Yes.
All right, my name is Judge Hesselink. You're in the family courtroom for Otsego County. I'm going to swear you in, then Mr. Blumberg, and then Ms. Robinson will have some questions for you. Would you raise your right hand, please? You swear the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
All right, you can put your hand down, ma'am. You'd state your full name again and spell your last name for the record, please.
Catherine Mcmasters, Mcmasters.
Thank you very much, Mr. Blumberg. Go ahead.
Thank you. Ms. Mcmasters, can you tell the court where you're currently employed?
Old Town Psychological Services.
And in what capacity are you employed there?
I'm self-employed. I just rent a office space.
Okay, so
Here.
you're actually not an employee of Old Town?
No, not technically. I work for their building. I just rent an office space.
Okay, can you tell us a little bit about what you do for a living?
I'm a limited licensed psychologist. So I work with kids and adults and do ADHD assessments, bipolar assessments. I do a lot of different things.
Okay, and do you hold any particular licenses that allow you to do that?
Yeah, the limited license.
Okay, can you tell us a little bit about your educational background, please?
I got a master's degree in the study of autism. So I have a master's in applied behavioral analysis and then a master's in psychology. I've always been in counseling. I've always done work with the people, and I worked 4 years in a rehab center. or 2 years, I'm sorry, 4 years in autism, things like that.
Okay. Have you ever testified in the court before?
No,
Okay. Is Amethyst a patient of yours?
yes.
Okay. And how long have you been involved with the young child?
In the beginning of summer.
Okay. Judge, I guess at this point we would move to ask the court to treat this as an expert witness.
Ms. Robinson,
I have no objection, Your Honor.
and what would the area of expertise be, Mr. Blumberg?
Child counseling.
All right, without objection, the witness is so qualified.
So, Ms. Mcmasters, you had indicated that you've been counseling with Amethyst since the summertime. Is that right?
Yes.
Do you have your file with you?
No, but I can grab it.
Could you do that? Because I believe the subpoena required you to get that. Bring that
Sure.
with you.
Yep,
Okay.
I'll be right back.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
So and again, to the extent that you can answer my questions without referring to your file, I would ask you to do that. But if you need to refresh your memory, I don't think there'll be an issue about you doing that as well. But let's talk about the circumstances that brought the child to you. Do you recall, was it in the middle of the summer, beginning of the summer, or when was it?
I think it was like June 6th, around June. The beginning of June is when May, the end of May is when I first started seeing her.
And was it the child's mother that brought her to you?
Correct.
Did you have some understanding as to why Amethyst was coming to see you?
Yes.
What was your understanding in regard to that?
Amethyst had witnessed something from her father. He came and there was a scene and she was struggling with coping with that. She was having issues of what she heard and what she saw.
Okay. Now, do you have some recollection as to the age of the child?
She's 9, I believe.
Okay.
No, she's 6.
Okay. She's 6 years old.
Yes.
And when she first came to you, did you have some type of intake session or to get information from both she and her mother?
Yes.
Okay. And the information that you obtained, did you learn of some type of custody arrangement between the child's mother and the child's father?
Yes, the mother had explained some of that to me.
Okay. So have you been seeing the child on a regular basis since May?
Yes, I see her once a week.
Okay. Is she a very open child? That is, are you able to get information and responses from her during your counseling sessions?
Here and there, it depends on her mood, I guess. Like she can be very active, and when she's active, she gets distracted easily, and I won't get a lot of information.
Okay. Did you have the opportunity to review the video that reflected the conduct of Mr. Wilson that is troubling to the child?
I did.
Okay. From a professional standpoint, as a counselor, would that be the type of incident that would be somewhat traumatic to the child?
Yes, it would be alarming for a child of her age because she's not understanding what's going on and the loud voices and talking.
It wasn't just loud voices, was it? I mean, there was certainly.
There was actions, physical actions, yes, too.
Okay. And during your sessions with the child, does she display any concerns or fears about being at her father's home?
She has mentioned that she gets nervous if he gets upset because she doesn't like his tone, or like if he yells, that makes her anxious and nervous.
Okay. And does she share with you that he does display that type of behavior while she's there?
She has mentioned a circumstance, but she doesn't say it happens all the time.
Okay. Does the child share with you the sleeping arrangements when she would ever spend overnights at her father's house?
Yes.
And what is your understanding of those arrangements?
She doesn't like to spend the night. She has mentioned that she does not like to spend the night over there because she doesn't like to sleep upstairs alone.
Okay, and does she tell you that that's where she's required to sleep while she's there?
Yes, that's where she has to sleep when she's at her father's.
Okay. Now, did you have the opportunity to review a psychological evaluation that was performed on Mr. Wilson back in February?
I did look at that.
Okay. First of all, were you familiar with the form that was filled out?
Objection, Your Honor. We have not qualified this witness to determine an evaluation on those, under these parameters. That was an evaluation of an adult in a mental health perspective. She has not seen my client. She has not spoken to my client. I would say that this line of questioning is probably irrelevant and prejudicial to my client.
Mr. Blumberg?
Yeah, we're not asking for the admission of the document. All I've done is asked her if she's familiar with the document.
All right, for that limited purpose, you may proceed. Ma'am, you may answer that question.
Can you repeat the question, please?
Sure. The form that was filled out or the evaluation that was prepared, have you seen that type of document before?
I have seen forms like that, yes.
Okay. And do you know what the forms are for or what the evaluation is supposed to do?
It normally for that, you're trying to find out if there's a mental health or an issue with them. So it's a form of testing to see if they have a disorder.
And again, I'm not asking for your expert opinion as to whether the evaluation is accurate or not, but I want to read to you. It says, Kyle meets the criteria for the above noted diagnosis, adjustment disorder, unspecified. Are you familiar with that type of diagnosis?
Again, we will object to this line of questioning. This is not a professional in line with an evaluating my client.
Judge, all I'm asking her, is she familiar with that diagnosis, not whether it's accurate or not?
You're
think he's
trying to
allowed
put her into a position of an expert evaluator of an adult situation. That's not why she's here.
Okay, Ms. Robinson, hang on. I got your objection and I got your basis, Mr. Blumberg. It appears to me that the question itself is allowable to see if this witness has knowledge of what the diagnosis is. And the next relevant question would be, does that have any impact on the child? Not any further than what Ms. Robinson is arguing. So this particular question is appropriate and is relevant. So Mr. Blumberg will be able to ask it.
Okay, so again, Ms. Mcmasters, are you familiar with the diagnosis of adjustment disorder?
Yes, I am.
Okay, and again, I'm not asking you whether Mr. Wilson has that condition. Can you tell the court a little bit about what an adjustment disorder is?
Yeah, so I don't have it memorized. I have to go through the DSM-5. That's where all your disorders and mental disorders are. So I would have to look that up to get your full, definition of it, if that's what you want me to do.
Well, I really don't need a definition, but if you have some understanding of what an adjustment disorder means.
Typically, an adjustment disorder means that you have many, it's like almost a mood disorder. Like you have either angry outbursts or you have different qualities of, it's an adjustment disorder. So it can be different things.
Okay, does it have to do with coping with different situations and your ability to address those? Okay. So, and again, I'm not, please, I'm not holding you out as an expert in this area, but given what you've just told us and your understanding of what such a diagnosis is, would you think that after reviewing the video of Mr. Wilson, that this might be an appropriate diagnosis?
That's honestly something
Objection, Your Honor.
I can't answer.
Okay.
Just because I would personally have to do the assessment. I would personally have to meet him for those questions to be answered.
Well, then let me ask it to you this way. After having reviewed the video of that behavior, would you think that that was reflective of someone?
Objection, Your Honor. He's asking her to diagnose my client.
let's let him finish the question, then I'll stop the witness from saying anything. So Mr. Blumberg, please finish your question, then I'll hear the objection.
Thank you, Judge. So again, Ms. McMasters, after reviewing the video and seeing the behavior and conduct of Mr. Wilson in your capacity as an educated therapist, would that behavior be consistent with somebody with an adjustment disorder?
It can be
All right,
consistent.
all right, hang on. I'm going to stop there. I'm going to give Ms. Robinson a chance to say what her objection is, and then I'll rule on whether the question's allowable. Ms. Robinson, go ahead.
Again, I object that this witness is not qualified as an expert witness to evaluate my client, especially not from a video or from a transcript of somebody else's evaluation. This is a highly prejudicial line of questioning.
Just about any questioning is going to be prejudicial. Question, is it unfairly prejudicial and is it relevant? So I don't believe that this witness has been qualified, Mr. Blumberg, as an expert in adjustment disorders or in adult adjustment disorders. I don't know if there's any difference between an adult and child adjustment disorders, and that hasn't been explored yet. So I'm gonna sustain the objection at this point.
I appreciate that, Judge. I think you're probably right. Let me ask you that, let me ask you this, Ms. McMasters. Are you familiar with adjustment disorders in children?
I have not personally assessed one.
Okay. As to the report that, again, you were asked to review that talks about, makes reference to a safety plan. Are you familiar with this concept of safety plans?
I am.
And what's your understanding of those?
You take precautions. Well, you build the safety plan off of what's going on, and you follow a guideline of what you set forth. Like you phone a friend, or you call 911, or you do these things, you take steps.
Okay. And again, we don't know what the safety plan that was being recommended for Mr. Wilson, but given your ongoing therapy with the child, do you believe that the fear that she has in spending overnights with her father continues?
Can you repeat that?
Sure. Your counseling with the child continues, is that correct?
Yes, it continues, yes.
Okay. And as of today's most recent session, has she still continued to show a fear of spending overnights at her father's home?
The past couple sessions, this last one, she did again relate that she doesn't like to sleep upstairs alone.
Judge, at this point, I don't have any other questions for this witness.
Cross-examination, Ms. Robinson.
Thank you, Your Honor. Thank you, Ms. McMasters. Can you explain what a limited licensed psychologist,
Yes, it means I have to
Position
be
is-
under a supervisor,
and who is your supervisor?
Dr. Hayes.
Is he on site with you to consult?
He is not. I could talk to him yesterday.
Do you consult with him regularly about your cases?
I do if I have to, yes. Or if I have questions of, like, I will.
Have you ever conducted custody evaluations?
No, I have not.
Are you trained in conducting forensic psychological assessments?
No,
Is your role here strictly as a therapist for the child, not as an evaluator of parenting capacity?
unless the parent needs some help, like if I can do both. So
For
yes,
the
right
pa-
now with this case, I am with the child.
Thank you. Does your knowledge of the family come primarily from what the mother has told you and what the child has told you?
Yes,
Have you ever spoken to the father about his parenting?
I have not.
Have you visited the father's home?
I have not.
Have you ever observed the father and the child interacting together?
No,
So is it fair to say that your opinions are and your assessments are based entirely on one parent's account and the child's statements?
the child's statements.
Is the child 6 years old or 7 years old?
She is, it says on the paperwork of intake that she's 6, but it looks like her birthday is 7/22. So on 7/22, she just turned 7.
Okay, sweet. At that age, children are very impressionable, aren't they?
I guess it depends on your opinion, I guess, on that. They can be.
Do children often repeat things that they hear from their adult caregivers?
They can.
Do children have a good grasp on the differences between feelings, opinions, and facts? Or a child of the age 7, would a child of the age 7 have a good grasp on the difference between feelings, opinions, and facts?
It depends on the child.
Let me object to the question. Certainly, the question would be relevant if it relates to this particular child. But a generalized question about 7-year-olds, I think, is probably not helpful to the court. Certainly, again, if the question is posed as it relates to Amethyst, I would withdraw my objection.
And you're absolutely right, counsel. That was my next question. So I will withdraw that question. Would you say, in your opinion, that Amethyst may not always understand the difference between feelings, opinions, and facts?
Repeat that again, please.
Do you think Amethyst has a strong understanding of the difference between feelings, opinions, and facts?
I think she does.
When you hear the child describe her father, can you be certain that those words are her own or that they weren't influenced by anybody else?
I don't think they were influenced by anybody else, how she talks.
Sorry. Can you be certain of that?
I guess, yeah, I can, because I don't think what I've heard from the other party, I've heard from her, I guess.
Have you been able to independently verify the accuracy of what the child has told you?
Verify through who?
Exactly. I guess that's the question. That's why I ask if you can be very certain that what she is saying is actually true.
Well, I believe that she tells me the truth because she's not talking to me like an adult would talk to me, I guess. Like, I don't feel like when she's telling me things, it was coached by anybody.
Would you say your role as a therapist is to support the child's emotional health?
Yes. Physical, emotional, mental.
Are you making any recommendations today about custody or parenting time?
I'm here to testify on the child's behalf, I guess, and give you the information that I know.
So when Amethyst tells you that she has a problem with where she sleeps in the house, is your focus helping her on helping her make a change in that, or is your focus on helping her cope with that?
I have focuses I tell her, why don't you ask your dad if you can sleep somewhere else? Or why don't you switch rooms with somebody? Like, I offer ideas and see where that leads.
So would you say that sleeping arrangements aren't necessarily, would you say sleeping arrangements are something that we should make custody decisions on, if we just don't agree with where a child sleeps in a home?
Judge, let me object. She said she's not making any custody recommendations. That's
I
not
wasn't
what
asking
she's
about
doing.
custody.
You
All
just,
right. Repeat the question for me so I make sure I've got it.
Is it your role to help determine where a child should sleep in the home, or is it your role to help the child cope with if she has a problem with where she sleeps in the home?
Okay, stop. Don't answer the question. Mr. Blumberg, your objection to that is what?
well, that's a different question than what was asked before, Judge.
All right. Do you have a objection to that question?
I'm Sure, no objection. I'm interested in
All right.
what she has to say.
So the previous question will not be re-asked, and then we'll proceed with this one. Go ahead, re-ask the question so the witness can answer.
Is your role to help the child, to apologize, is your role, do you feel your role is to help the child, or to help make decisions about where the child sleeps in the home, or make recommendations about where the child sleeps in the home, or to help the child with the coping strategy of that?
It's trying to help find solutions.
So whether the child actually spends overnights with the father, would you agree that that's ultimately a legal decision for the court, not a therapeutic one for a therapist?
Like,
Objection, Judge. That is your decision, and that's not her decision to make. So the question itself is objectionable.
Let's move on, counsel. I agree with that.
Are you aware that the court has ordered regular parenting time with the father since June of 2025?
Objection. Objection. There is a recommendation for something that was not in place that is now being objected to.
Ms. Robinson?
I don't understand that objection. I'm asking if she's familiar with the parenting time arrangement.
All right, that's a different question. I have no objection to that.
All right, go ahead.
I mean,
Are you,
are you, okay, sorry, go ahead.
are you aware that the court has ordered regular parenting time with the father since June 2025?
I guess she's made me aware there's been some changes, but I guess I don't read the changes because I'm supportive. My job is to counsel my client.
Is it your understanding that those visits have been occurring without incident?
Without incident of,
Without a repeat of what you saw in the video from the December incident?
oh, am I, so repeat your question, please. I'm not understanding what you're asking me.
Is it your understanding that those visits, that the parenting time visits that they're having have been occurring without incident?
Yes, I have,
Have you observed the child returning from those visits in distress beyond normal adjustment and transitions?
that's something I would not notice because I don't see them switch. Like I just see her mostly with her mother. So I don't know how she acts after she comes back from her dad's.
Your Honor, let me also object. The questions are a bit deceptive because the parenting time that's been going on has been supervised parenting time. The parenting time that occurred prior to the court's order was unsupervised. So these questions on their face are a bit deceptive because they're not talking about the same situation.
And
Mr.
Your Honor, I
Blumberg,
would say that that's a bit of a mischaracterization.
hang on. Whoa. I appreciate you want to jump in and give me some additional help, but wait till you lose. Mr. Blumberg, I do believe that you can take care of that on cross-examination. The question itself is appropriate, and she will be allowed to ask it. Thank you.
Okay.
Go ahead, Ms. Robinson.
Oh, I'm sorry. Just lost my place. I apologize. You did not witness the December incident, correct?
Not personally, no.
And you don't know the full context of what happened that day, do you?
I do not.
And you're not trained to determine whether a one-time incident constitutes trauma under the DSM-5, is that correct?
It can take one instance of something to create trauma, yes.
Would you agree that a single incident of a parent yelling does not automatically mean that their child is scarred for life?
Depends on the situation and the child.
Do you think Amethyst has been scarred for life by the December incident?
I think she has some trauma with that, yes.
Do you believe do you believe that she'll be able to overcome that trauma?
Yes.
And do you think that she'll be able to do that and still have a good relationship with her father?
Calls for
Um,
speculation, Your Honor. I don't
Yep.
know how this witness can predict the future.
I will retract that
Medical
one.
situation as an expert, I don't know.
Well, if she's evaluating the child, I imagine she could evaluate whether the child is open to maintaining a relationship with her father.
Go ahead and ask the question, see what she says.
Do you think Amethyst will be able to overcome this trauma and maintain a good relationship with her father?
I guess it depends on his behavior. If he acts like that again, I mean, I don't know.
Have you been engaged or requested to eventually evaluate the father and the child together?
No.
I have no further questions, Your Honor.
Any follow up, Mr. Blumberg?
Just a couple brief questions. So, Ms. McMasters, you were asked about most recently whether the child has displayed any kind of ill effects from having parenting time with her father since we were in court last. And I believe your answer was no. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. Are you aware of the fact that the parenting time that the child has had with her father since the referee hearing has been supervised parenting time?
Correct.
Does Amethyst seem more comfortable when there are supervisors there for her parenting time with her father?
I can't answer that because that's never been discussed and I don't see them together.
No, but has she indicated to you that there's always some supervisor type person present while she's there?
Yeah.
Does she seem comfortable as a result of that person being there to supervise?
Yeah. She's never mentioned it, but she's never said anything bad. Like she's never said it's good or bad.
Okay. Okay. Judge, I don't have any other questions. Thank you.
All right, Ms. McMaster, I do have a couple of questions for you. On direct examination from Mr. Blumberg, you said that you had reviewed the video of the dad's actions and that was alarming to the child. How did Amethyst express that to you? What was the way that she phrased it, and what was the apparent emotion that she expressed during that?
She just had told me that during that, because I asked her if she saw it or heard it, and she said she mostly heard him yelling, and that scared her and frightened her. And she was crying, and she said that she cried and she was scared and she didn't know what was going on.
How long after the incident was she describing that to you?
It took me a couple months to build or like it took me a couple of weeks to build rapport with her. So she didn't start talking to it until maybe a couple weeks into our sessions, and then I had brought it up and she described it.
So when she did this a few weeks later in your presence, what was her emotional state then?
She didn't cry. It was kind of just neutral, like very. It's almost like she tries to block it out. She knows it happened. She knows what she saw and heard, but she tucks it away, I think, because she doesn't really have any expression. Um, she just says it. Like it makes me nervous. I was scared.
All right. You also indicated that Amethyst indicated to you that she was nervous based on how her dad, if her dad yelled or the tone that he used. How did she describe that, and what was the emotional impact that you saw when she was describing that?
She just says that she like the same things. She doesn't really have a reaction. Her eyes might get big. Like there was an incident that he spilled coffee apparently, and that instantly made her nervous because he yelled because he spilled coffee. And she said that I think she went in her room after or something because she was nervous.
All right. And then the sleeping upstairs at dad's house, is that tied in any way to the December incident or the yelling, or is that a separate fear that she has?
I think that was a fear that kind of got brought up by what happened because I asked her about that, and she says that she feels like people are looking at her through the window. She hears noises, and I think she just feels very alone up there, and it's in a big room, it sounds like, and it's just her up there.
So in your mind, that is not connected to the other two reasons why she is either nervous or afraid?
I mean, I think it can be. I think what happened with that incident just made her a little bit more aware and nervous and of being alone, possibly. So I'm, I mean, she just feels
All right.
alone, and it's big in a big area. She doesn't like it.
All right. In your view, has Amethyst made progress in dealing with the nervousness and the fear and the crying and the incidents that have been described today?
I think she's getting a little bit better, but like I said, it's very hard for her to stay focused on what we want to talk about. She kind of avoids. I mean, she'll give me, she'll answer my questions, but at the same time, it's very vague.
If you were to, well, let me just ask it, is there some time frame upon which Amethyst you think would be well suited to be over this, or would be well suited to cope with these kinds of incidents?
I think if, I mean, think a couple or more months, like I would say 5 to 6 more months of therapy for her.
Other than therapy, is there anything else that you are actively asking Amethyst or the mother to do to assist her in coping with her fears?
I haven't really talked to the mother. It's just been Amethyst and I. Um, Eventually, I mean, I think there's some behaviors that I've noticed, and I don't know if they've always been like that. I think the change of the family dynamic, I think there's issues that need to be talked about there with her too, as well. But I'm just sticking to point with Amethyst right now.
Okay. Let me see if I have any other questions for you.
Okay.
All right. That's all the questions I have. Do either council have any questions based on mine?
I just have one perhaps or two. So Ms. McMasters, has Amethyst discussed with you her concerns about when her father gets angry during even these supervised parenting time visits?
No, she's never no.
Okay, but you said you described a situation where Mr. Wilson spilled a cup of coffee and started screaming, and that apparently affected Amethyst in some way. Is that right?
Yes, she told me about that instance or that circumstance. Yes.
Okay. From the therapist providing services to Amethyst, would you believe it would be helpful for her if her father was involved in counseling to address some of these anger issues?
Yes.
Objection, Your Honor. We haven't even established that he has anger issues.
Judge, I think that video makes it pretty clear that he's got some anger issues.
I think the vernacular is appropriate in this case. So yes, I would agree that the December incident, even if it is just an isolated incident, shows some level of anger problems. So go ahead, Mr. Blumberg.
Thank you. So again, Ms. McMasters, again, purely from Amethyst's standpoint as her therapist, would you believe it would be helpful to her if her father was involved in counseling to deal with whatever issues are causing his behavior?
Yes.
Okay. I have no other questions. Thank you.
Ms. Robinson, any follow-up?
Yes, Your Honor. Ms. McMaster, what leads you to believe that Amethyst is, I think you'd use the term tucking it away or repressing her memory rather than just speaking matter-of-factly when she's not giving any kind of emotional reaction to you?
Repeat that, please.
What leads you to your belief that Amethyst is maybe repressing, or as your term was, turning away from or avoiding talking about that situation rather than her speaking matter-of-factly, because you indicated she wasn't having any kind of emotional reaction about that?
You mean why is she blocking her
Yeah,
memories or her
what-
feelings?
Why do you think she's blocking it rather than speaking matter-of-factly about it?
Because I think she is struggling with it and doesn't want to talk about it because it could have been traumatic for her and she doesn't know how to adjust to it.
Is it normal for a child to have anxiety at that age about sleeping arrangements or sleeping alone or sleeping in the dark, or
I,
the fears that she's expressed
Excuse
about
me,
being in her room?
let me interject. Judge, I think we were at the point where did your questioning elicit any further questions from us? I think that this is getting into an area that you didn't even ask about.
That is true, Ms. Robinson. Do you have a reason why I need to expand your area of inquiry?
No, Your Honor, but I just follow up that
All right.
was discussed. Do you know
Any
who the
other questions?
supervisor is? I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Ms. McMasters, do you know who the supervisor is for the supervised visits?
I believe so.
Are you aware that is Celeste Bondi, Mr. Wilson's current partner?
Correct.
Do you think Miss Bondi's presence is a benefit to Amethyst when she's with her dad?
She doesn't really, that's not something I can answer because she doesn't really talk about her.
No further questions.
All right. Ms. McMasters, thank you very much for your testimony. You are free to go. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ask you a quick question.
Hang on just a second. Go ahead.
Carmen has an emergency mental pickup. Would you like her to bring it in here or don't want me to find another judge?
Bring it here. Mr. Blumberg, do you have an additional witness or other evidence?
Yes, I'd like to call Mr. Wilson to the stand, please.
All right, I have an emergency mental health petition that I need to review. It'll take me about 5 minutes to do that. So why don't we take this a good place to stop? So we'll take a quick break and then I'll be back as quickly as I can and we'll pick up with Mr. Wilson's testimony. So we'll be in recess.
Mr. Wilson, in February of this year, you were ordered to attend North Country Community Mental Health for a psychological evaluation. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. Do you remember or do you know the circumstances that led to the court ordering you to be evaluated?
Screenshots that were taken out of context of me off of Facebook, which were submitted to the court by Ashley Marie Hoffstra.
And did the incident in December, which was videoed, did that have some impact on the order to get you evaluated? Are you aware of that?
I am not aware of that.
Okay, so the posts that you posted, those are the ones that we talked about during the referee hearing. The one that you had a gun in your hand, is that correct?
An airsoft BB gun.
Okay, but certainly from the picture, you couldn't tell whether it was a real gun or it wasn't, or could you?
Oh, you could, but unfortunately, the plaintiff party took out the context of text, which would have been crucial to that post, which you're referring to.
Okay, and again, you had a number of posts that suggested to the reader that you were depressed and despondent and you didn't want to continue with your life. Isn't that what those posts suggested?
Incorrect, Mr. Blumberg.
Okay, one of your texts was, "I am one step away from a severe mental breakdown." Am I reading that incorrectly?
No, sir, but it is a good thing for me that I stepped away from that one step.
What would that one step have been? A suicide attempt?
Oh, no, we don't talk about that.
Why not?
Well, that's just an unrelated subject to this.
Okay, so, I mean, again, I am one step away from a severe mental breakdown. The conditions that you were experiencing at that time, do they continue today?
Oh, no, sir. We have solved and made all of the problems within my brick and mortar company work very smoothly, like a quote, well-oiled machine. So those little stressors which we experienced during those periods of time, which it's been so long now, those are pretty well absolved, Mr. Blumberg.
And so when you made the comment, I don't think people understand that the level of seriousness when I say I don't want to be around anymore, to the uneducated reader, wasn't that a suggestion that you were going to do yourself in?
Absolutely not. But fortunately, I don't have uneducated readers reading my posts.
Okay, you just have highly educated people reading your posts?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so in any event, whatever the circumstances were, in February of 2025, you were ordered to present yourself for a psychological evaluation. Is that correct?
Correct.
And you submitted to that evaluation. Is that correct?
Correct.
Did you ever have the opportunity to review the report that was prepared as a result of that evaluation?
Yes.
Okay. Am I correct in understanding that you were diagnosed with an adjustment disorder?
That would be what the text reads.
Okay, so other than the text, what else can I read that would suggest that's not accurate?
I don't understand the question, Mr. Blumberg.
Do you disagree with the diagnosis?
I don't think anyone here fully understands the diagnosis, Mr. Blumberg.
I can read the diagnosis and it says you had an adjustment disorder unspecified. My question is, first of all, do you disagree with that?
We've asked the court, we've asked the therapist that was in session in court with us today what that meant, and none of us came to a consensus. So I can't really accurately answer the question that you were repeating.
Okay, I'm not sure I understand your answer. So either you agree or you disagree or you just don't know. Which of
What
the
is
three
what
is it?
what is an unspecified adjustment disorder specifically?
Well, I'm the one asking the questions for now. I'm not the psychiatrist or psychologist. You went through a battery of tests and you were determined to have an adjustment disorder. And I'm asking you, do you disagree with that?
We do not understand what an adjustment disorder is, so I cannot make a stance of agreement.
Again, I'm reading from the report. It says Kyle meets the criteria for the above noted diagnosis per the DSM-5 based on prior psychiatric history. So, Mr. Wilson, my reading of that suggests, one, that you have a prior psychiatric history. Have you had a history of mental disorders?
That is not accurate.
What is your psychiatric history, if you can tell us?
I do not have a psychiatric history, Mr. Blumberg.
So this report is inaccurate then?
I believe you might be asking the wrong questions, sir.
So you don't know whether this report is accurate?
What specifically is stated about history that you're asking me about?
Okay, it says that you meet the criteria.
I heard what you asked.
Excuse me, let me finish my question. I thought you just asked me to repeat it. Am I correct? You want me to repeat it?
Continue.
Kyle meets the criteria for the above noted diagnosis, which is adjustment disorder unspecified, based on DSM-5 testing and prior psychiatric history. My question to you, sir, is do you have a psychiatric history that you can tell us about?
No, I do not.
You've never been diagnosed with any other mental disorders?
No, I have not.
You don't have any anger issues?
I do not have anger issues, but if we're referring to the video that we've been questioning, that was a very unacceptable display of my behavior, very short-tempered and very, very short-sighted, and a very one-off of my continued regular character in life and with my daughter.
Mr. Wilson, are you currently in counseling?
Not currently, but I believe I was taking counseling for myself personally within the last, and my counselor's name was Stephen Wallace. I do still have his information. It was within the last year and a half, 2 years ago that I was seeing him regularly once a week. I was scheduling with him for a couple of months.
And what was the purpose of that counseling?
Oh, just to kind of deal with my daily work stresses of, running the brick and mortar business, which I do so, fluidly and continuously.
The report goes on to say that you are going to be discharged with a safety plan. Were you ever provided a safety plan?
Yes, Mr. Blumberg.
And was that a written safety plan of some sort?
No, verbal, Mr. Blumberg.
It was a verbal safety plan. And who provided you with that?
Whoever conducted the psychological evaluation that evening.
Do you recall what the safety plan is?
Yes, Mr. Blumberg,
Can you share that with me, please?
I can. So upon discharging me, the psychological evaluation specialist made a safety plan for me to spend 24 hours under supervision of Miss Celeste Bondi. So we did that.
Excuse me? The safety plan was for you to be with your girlfriend? That was the safety plan?
Yes, Mr. Blumberg.
And that was the extent of the safety plan?
Yes, Mr. Blumberg.
So if I understand, in the event that you should have another episode such as the one that was reflected in the December video, your girlfriend is supposed to provide some type of supervision or safety for whoever else is in the house?
Yes, Mr. Blumberg. But luckily, we have had no incidents since then.
You've also had no overnights with your daughter that have been unsupervised, have you?
I have had zero overnights whatsoever since the December incident, not one supervised or unsupervised.
You're aware, are you not, or did you learn today for the first time that your daughter is afraid to spend overnights at your home in the bedroom that you're making her sleep in?
No, she made us well aware of that. We were working on that avidly, actually, and we were starting to make some progress until all of this occurred. But yeah, her sleeping alone upstairs in the bedroom is something that she has expressed over and over with us. And so we're trying to work on her with it. So what we're going to likely do, once we have her for overnights again is just, well, Celeste's room is right next to hers. So she'll just sleep upstairs with her, keep the doors open, things like that. But those are things that we'll have to work on with our daughter in real time, tangibly, when those things are going on again.
Have you ever reached out to your daughter's counselor to find out if there are issues that you could assist in or participate in any time?
We have not yet reached out to Miss Mcmasters.
Is there a reason why you've waited to do that?
Well, she's only been seeing her for a little while. Not a reason. No, I can't specify a reason, just kind of got to get to that. But yeah, we will follow up with her.
And sir, are you on any type of prescribed medication?
No,
You're not being treated by any healthcare individual?
not for a psychological problem. The only medication and the only medication that I'm taking is an anticonvulsant called Keppra.
Do you have epilepsy?
I was diagnosed with epilepsy some years ago, yes.
Make sure I understand your testimony. You don't understand what the diagnosis from the psychological evaluation. You don't know if you have an adjustment disorder or not. And the safety plan that was put into place was a verbal safety plan whereby your girlfriend has to be present? What happens when you have another one of these episodes? What is Miss Bondi supposed to do?
Objection, Your Honor.
that-
Calls for speculation.
That would be a question for the psychological evaluator.
Judge, it's part of the safety plan. I'm assuming the safety plan requires some other person to step in and take remedial action.
The safety plan was for 24 hours following his release.
All right, the question was, what happens if there's a future incident, which I think is a relevant inquiry into this this person's relationship with the child. So, Mr. Blumberg, please ask the question again. Mr. Wilson, listen carefully and answer the question.
So, Mr. Wilson, in the event that the behavior that was demonstrated in the video was to occur again, what remedial action would be taken by anybody in your household?
Oh, well, easily Miss Celeste Bondi would intervene and de-escalate the situation, and probably remove me from it for a very short period of time until everything was right on back to normal and completely de-escalated.
You understand, do you not, that the recommendation of the referee would provide you with overnight parenting time unsupervised 3 weekends a month? Is that your understanding of the recommendation?
That is.
And you think that that is in your daughter's best interest at this point in time, given the trauma that you've created?
Correct, sir. Yes, she has actually lost enough time with her paternal father at this point through all of this, so it's time to stop all of this.
Even if your daughter isn't ready?
Oh, she's expressed to us that she's ready. We have video of that, actually.
Judge, I don't have any other questions.
Ms. Robinson, do you have any cross-examination?
Yes, Your Honor.
Go ahead.
So when you were picked up in February for your mental health evaluation, the Facebook posts that were used describe you as saying, I'm a step away from having a mental breakdown. The supposedly attempt at comedy, the gun picture, things like that. When were those posts made?
Well, the most recent of all of the posts that you just described in question would have been the BB gun one, which I guess I can't throw a dart at a board, but it would have been within the last year. But the other posts in question would have been within the last 2 years to 2.5 years.
Do you remember exactly when the particular post, the I'm one step away from a mental breakdown post was?
I think we're looking at over a year, well over a year on that now,
From the date that
that it was posted.
you were picked up?
Oh, ask the question again. I'm so sorry.
How far back was that post made compared to when you were picked up?
We'll call it a year.
About a year. Was that indicated on any of the documents that were submitted along with the petition for mental evaluation?
Yes, the screenshots were
Were the
included as to when I was taken, that was what was provided to me as well. I think as evidence.
were the dates included on those?
No,
Were the years included on those posts?
no.
So in fact, the evidence that was provided to get your mental health evaluation was extremely
Yeah.
old.
Right. It wouldn't have constituted as evidence for an immediate mental health crisis, not by any means nor stretch of the imagination.
Thank you. Again, we'll go back to the diagnosis from the DSM-5. What is your understanding of that diagnosis?
What's been asked, Judge, he said he didn't understand it.
What is your understanding
allowed-
of what was
Hang on.
described?
Whoa, whoa, whoa. I need to make a ruling before we start asking that question or another question. So I believe that she's allowed to inquire on cross-examination into a question on direct examination. So she's allowed to do that. Go ahead, Ms. Robinson.
What is your understanding of the diagnosis?
I've not even really a limited understanding of it, but I would imagine from the immediate release and very tentative and limited short follow-up plan that it wouldn't be severe.
Do you feel qualified to say whether you fit that diagnosis?
I am not.
Thank you. Can you also give us context on the coffee incident? Was that before or after the December incident?
Oh, that was far before the December incident.
When was that?
I'm gonna say it was within a year before the December incident.
Okay. And what happened at that incident?
I pushed too hard on my French press depressor, and then it shot coffee onto my hand and my pants, and so I screamed and I yelled and I kind of ripped my pants off. My daughter got scared at my very loud, deep, booming voice, so especially when I'm talking outside of a room setting, you know. So anyway, she kind of ran off to her room. I noticed it immediately and I was like, uh-oh. So I went and consoled her. I sat down with her in her bedroom. I held her, I hugged her. I said, I'm very sorry about that, and that, you know, it was inappropriate of me. I actually told her that, and she told me it's okay. And then so we just kind of, you know, moved on with our day after that. But I made sure to address it immediately with her.
Thank you. I have no further questions.
And follow up, Mr. Blumberg.
I do not, Judge.
All right, thank you, Mr. Wilson. Mr. Blumberg, do you have any other witnesses or evidence?
I don't at this time.
All right, Ms. Robinson, do you have any witnesses or evidence that you wish to call?
I'd like to ask a few questions of Celeste Bondi, who's been sitting in my lobby patiently for a while.
Certainly.
We are prepared to proceed.
Ms. Bondi, this is Judge Hesselink. Would you raise your right hand so I can swear you in? You swear the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
All right, you can put your hand down. State your last name, or excuse me, state your full name and spell your last name, please.
Celeste Marie Bondi, Bondie.
All right, Ms. Robinson, before you begin, could you tell me where the people are sitting in your office at the moment?
Yes. Mr. Wilson is right here. Ms. Bondi is right here. I am right here next to the computer.
Is there any way to separate Mr. Wilson and Ms. Bondi a little bit more?
Absolutely. He can go out into the lobby.
No, he's entitled to stay because he's a defendant, but I
Well, he
just
can
don't
come
want
over
him.
behind me then. I've got another
All right.
spot over here for him.
I just don't want to have there be any issue of whispering or hand gestures or anything like that. Not that
Understood.
necessarily would happen, but I did see, the reason I asked was because I saw his hand, or what appeared to be his hand, in the view when she was sitting down. I just thought it was a little inappropriate to have the defendant and the witness that close to each other. So thank you very much. Go ahead with your questions, Ms. Robinson.
Thank you. Ms. Bondi, were you present the night Mr. Wilson was picked up and taken to the Petoskey ER for a mental health evaluation?
Yes, I was.
Were you there the entire night with him?
The entire night I was there.
Did they give you a safety plan at the
Yes.
end of the night?
Yes, they did.
Did they give you a written safety plan?
No, it was verbal.
What was the safety plan?
The safety plan was to stay with him for the next 24 hours in the event there was any changes in his mental status, and if there was, to come back to the ER.
Was there any change in his mental status over the next 24 hours?
No, there was not.
That is all I've asked, all the questions I have of Ms. Bondi.
Mr. Blumberg, any cross?
Yes, thank you, Judge. So, Ms. Bondi, you are, I'm assuming, a live-in roommate of Mr. Wilson?
We live at the same house. Well, that's correct.
Okay, and the two of you have a romantic relationship?
Yeah. If you're curious, sure.
Okay. Were you with him in that night in December of 2024 at the exchange where he was attempting to pick up his daughter for parenting time?
Yes, the video was recorded from my car.
So you were present and witnessed that behavior, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And how long had you and Mr. Wilson been a couple since prior to that?
So that would have been 5 years prior.
So you've been together for over 5 years up until the
For
time?
about 6 years now, yeah.
Okay. So the behavior that was demonstrated by Mr. Wilson in that December evening, had you ever seen him act in a manner consistent with that?
No, now he has a loud voice always. That is his voice, but not to be upset like that. He's also never been threatened like that, to my knowledge, not in front of me.
Okay, so my question simply was, have you ever seen him act in a manner like that prior to that evening?
Nope, no.
Okay. Were you taken back or fearful of him as a result of the way he was acting that evening?
No,
You didn't think that that behavior was extraordinary in any way?
I was surprised by the withholding. Then I was surprised by his loud voice, but I wasn't fearful in any way.
He was screaming, was he not, at the top of his lungs?
He was, but he was not yelling threats. He was simply yelling.
Have you
was
seen
upset.
videos since the night that it happened?
Objection, Your Honor, asked and answered.
What was your, I don't
Cross-exam,
know.
hang on. It's cross-examination. He's allowed a little leeway. You can ask the question.
Have you reviewed that video since the night that it occurred?
Yes,
And when would you have most recently reviewed that?
I've reviewed it multiple times.
Okay. And so every time you look at it, you're still not looking at that and saying that is inappropriate, improper conduct?
Is that what you asked me?
No,
You
that's
asked
what I'm
me-
asking you now.
I don't think his conduct was appropriate. I
Okay.
think you probably would agree.
And do you have any idea the impact that that incident had on Amethyst?
Yes, I do.
Okay, you would acknowledge, would you not, that she was at least traumatized to some degree to see her father acting in that type of way?
I think the door was shut for the majority of it and the children were inside, but certainly any child would be upset to have their parent upset. That's expected. Yes.
And so you've been acting as this supervisor since the referee hearing so many months ago during parenting time for Mr. Wilson. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. And were you and Mr. Wilson aware that that his daughter was in counseling with Kathleen Mcmasters?
I was aware after I made a CPS referral. I'm a mandated reporter, just like any other counselor. So if I suspect abuse, I'm required by law to report it. So I've been aware that she received counseling at the school after a CPS complaint was filed by myself, and that counseling started at the school.
So wait a second. Let's back up. First of all, you are a counselor? Is that what you're suggesting?
No, I said I'm a mandated reporter, the same as a counselor. Like if myself, I have a medical license, if I suspect abuse, I'm required by law to report it the same as anybody like a counselor is. I was just trying to explain the process to you.
I'm trying to understand what you're telling us, and that is, first of all, you have a medical license?
So I'm a licensed physical therapist assistant and I'm a licensed nursing home administrator. Both of those make me a mandated reporter, where I am required by law to report any suspected abuse, which I did. CPS did file the referral, started counseling at the school. And then I'm aware that at some point in time later, Ashley didn't share with me, or Kyle, but at some point later, she did take her to Old Town Psychiatry, a place that we had requested that she do for some years, actually.
So, and again, you're not the child's stepmother. You and Mr. Wilson are not married, are you?
No, we're not.
But you have involved yourself in this process. Is that
I
correct?
actually involved myself, as you could see from text messages. We've been Co-parenting for years.
Co-parenting, because I understand that Mr.
That's what
Wilson,
Ashley calls it.
excuse me, ma'am.
Mhm.
I understand that Mr. Wilson doesn't even speak to the child's mother anymore and doesn't respond to text messages. Is that correct?
I would not be aware of his text messaging her or not. You would have to ask him that.
So when you talk about co-parenting, are we talking about you or are we talking about Mr. Wilson?
Ashley made it clear in a text that she no longer was willing to co-parent with me.
And because
I've done nothing-
you're not legally involved in this case, correct? You're his
Well,
girlfriend.
I am sitting in front of you, so I'm legally involved as far as this court proceeding goes.
You are Mr. Wilson's girlfriend. You are not the stepmother, and yet you're interjecting yourself into the co-parenting of this
No,
child?
sir, I'm not interjecting myself. I am a woman. I'm a woman friend of Kyle's. And when I've been asked to supervise, I don't think I'm interjecting myself. I think the court has asked me to supervise.
Okay, and you have been doing that, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, are you aware of any phobias that Amethyst has about sleeping overnight in the area in Mr. Wilson's home that you have her sleeping in?
I know prior to December 20th, 2024, that Ashley asked that Kyle move his bedroom upstairs because Amethyst was having fear at night, which is quite normal at the time. Before she turned 7, so 6 years old, fairly normal to be fearful of the dark. Most adults are even fearful of the dark. And the best thing that adults should do is help that child learn that they are safe and cared for and help them work through that difficult situation. It is hard as a child, but they do need to be supported and nurtured, and not told that they can't do it, that they're not going to ever be able to sleep through the dark. You simply do the little extras, leave the door cracked, put a night light, read them stories till they fall asleep, things of that nature. And that's what we did.
She continues to, if she were to spend overnights, she still would be sleeping in that same room with nobody on the same floor. Is that correct or not?
No, that's not correct.
Because you've moved up there now?
Yeah. Do you want to know why?
No, I don't.
Okay. Jeez.
You find this very humorous, do you, Miss Bondy?
No, your answer was interesting.
And you're a physical therapist assistant? Is that, do I understand your expertise?
That's one of my expertise.
So neither you nor Mr. Wilson have reached out to the child's therapist to find out how she's doing or whether or not Mr. Wilson should become involved in those sessions. Is that
I fully expected the therapist to reach out to us. We've never been shared by Ashley any contact information, the fact who her counselor was. Ashley's never shared any information with us.
you have no legal standing in this, but
No.
Mr. Wilson has joint legal custody. Has he made any formal inquiries, do you know?
You would have to ask him that question.
Okay. So after were you privy to the psychological evaluation report that was
Was I
done?
privy to whose psychological evaluation report?
Did you review it?
Whose? Which one?
What, did you have one on yourself?
I'm asking you what you're referring to, sir.
We're talking about Mr. Wilson's evaluation.
Yes, I did.
Okay. And so you read it, I take it, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And he was diagnosed as having an adjustment disorder unspecified. Mr. Wilson didn't seem to fully understand what that meant. Do you have an understanding?
I think it was referring to the fact that he was upset with the situation, that he was held at the hospital for 8 hours with police in public in front of clients that could affect his business. I think the adjustment to that was what they actually were referring to, that he was upset. Rightly so.
Did you have any discussions with anybody that performed the evaluation as to what it meant?
The discussions that I had with multiple people was related to the possibility of it being retaliatory.
So you had no information relayed to you, or did Mr. Wilson, as to the diagnosis and what it meant?
No, and if they're, I don't believe that's a diagnosis.
It says provisional diagnosis right on the report.
Provisional. What does that mean?
Well, I didn't prepare it. I would have thought that if Mr. Wilson wanted this court to understand that he no longer has the issues that were displayed in December, that he would have somebody here today to testify to these things. Does Mr. Wilson have any witnesses here today other than you?
Are you talking to me? Are you
Who
asking me
am
this
I talking
question?
to? You're the witness.
You're asking me if he has other witnesses? I think you should ask his lawyer.
Well, I'm
You're
asking
not
you, ma'am.
responsible for that.
You live with him. You're here today testifying on his behalf. To your knowledge, are there any professional people here to testify to Mr. Wilson's emotional and mental stability?
There's other people on the witness list. They're not physically present.
Judge, I have no other questions of this witness.
Ms. Robinson, any follow-up?
No, Your Honor.
All right, you may step down, ma'am. Ms. Robinson, any other additional witnesses or evidence?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Blumberg, any redirect, or excuse me, any rebuttal witnesses?
No, Judge, we do not. Thank you.
All right. I'll hear closing arguments from both counsel then, starting with Mr. Blumberg.
Thank you, Judge. I am just astounded I continue to be astounded by Mr. Wilson and his attitude towards this case. He seems to be put out by the fact that his behavior is evidenced by the video he claims is a one-time isolated incident. He's been diagnosed by a professional person with a disorder that he either denies or doesn't quite understand. What's clear from Ms. Mcmasters' testimony is things have not appreciably changed since that incident in December. The court, on an interim basis, over our objection, or along with our objection, the court suspended the parenting time on an overnight basis. This child still is not ready to go back and be subjected to be in the household with Mr. Wilson, still subject to the same behavior that he demonstrated, and Miss Bondi, who apparently is there on a full-time basis as the supervisor. She is also basically diminished the behavior or indicated that the behavior wasn't that extraordinary. I am flabbergasted that these two individuals can look at that video and say that this child is not fearful of him. She is. And what we would ask the court to do today is to continue the parenting time as recommended by Mr. Legal on a different basis, that he have the 3 weekends a month, but for daytime parenting time from 10 in the morning till 6 o'clock at night. Amethyst is still fragile and traumatized by her father, and she is not simply ready to be spending overnights at his home. And frankly, Your Honor, with all due respect to Ms. Bondi, I'm concerned about her acting in that capacity. She has displayed a lack of care, at least emotional care, for this child. So if we can agree on a different supervisor, we would ask the court to consider that. But those are the modifications that we are asking the court to make to the recommendation made by referee legal.
Ms. Robinson?
Thank you, Your Honor. My client is a fit and proper parent. We have an incident that is now 9 months removed from where we are today, a singular incident that Mr. Blumberg's client used to justify withholding the child for nearly 6 months. My client has missed out on, we've done the math, 54 and a half days worth of parenting time with his daughter this year. They've had this parenting time agreement in place since 2019, and things were going fairly smoothly with no incident like this until December of 2024. Again, we have a singular incident And Ms. Hoffstra has spent the time since December 2024 trying to get my client declared mentally ill. She tried to get it with an ex parte to get his parenting time removed in December of 2024. Then she petitioned the Emmett County Court with the same evidence that wasn't persuasive to the Otsego Court
Is
to
any of
get to
that-
have a
Ms.
mental
Robinson-
evaluation.
Ms. Robinson, is any of that in our record today or
Yes,
from
it
the
is.
referee hearing?
Yes, it is.
Where?
The timeline has been all throughout our record.
I'm here on a review of the referee hearing and then today's evidence. Where in the referee hearing was anything mentioned as to Emmett County and that information that you're just talking about?
I apologize, Your Honor. We did not speak on that in that review about North Country mental health and the pickup there, but we did talk about the ex parte being denied.
All right, go ahead. Thank you.
So again, Your Honor, we are 9 months removed from this one singular incident. The referee has already determined that that it was appropriate to reinstate parenting time. We've done a gradual ramp up with supervised parenting time. We have had no incidents. The child is still going to counseling. Mr. Wilson is more than ready to bring Amethyst back into his home and address the one situation that kicked off this entire situation when Miss Hoffstra brought up Amethyst's fear of her sleeping arrangements and said that he would not be taking her until she was satisfied with whatever the resolution was. That was the December incident. That's what kicked this off. 9 months later, we don't have a problem. Parenting time with overnight should resume as it was intended to, and we should get Amethyst back on track with her quality time with her father.
All right. Anything else, Ms. Robinson?
No, Your Honor.
All right. I am here today on a appeal of a referee or objection to a referee recommendation. The general rule as to the process for how that is done is new information can be done at today's de novo hearing, but it was also based on a review of Mr. Legal's referee decision. I have reviewed that hearing, and typically the factual determinations of Mr. Legal at that hearing stand unless they were objected to. The objections that were entered by Mr. Blumberg were as to unsupervised parenting time, the immediate effect of the order of Mr. Legal, of referee Legal, and that the defendant, Mr. Wilson, had a serious mental illness that would require a psychological evaluation be ordered by the court. That last one, I believe, has been taken care of through the psychological evaluation that was testified to today. The immediate effect will be addressed by the court today, and the supervised or unsupervised parenting time will be addressed by the court today. Otherwise, I am not changing any of the factual determinations that the referee made. I do agree that there was proper cause and change of circumstances to allow the review of custody and parenting time. I believe that there was a proper review of the best interest factors placed on the record, and I'm not going to change those either. The question becomes whether or not it is appropriate at this time to have supervised or unsupervised parenting time, and whether or not overnights are allowed. So I'm going to say this to start out. This decision of mine would have been made so much easier if Mr. Wilson and, quite frankly, Ms. Bondi today displayed the same attitude. If he'd had some humility and said, "I'm sorry, I made a mistake. It won't happen again." But his attitude throughout the referee hearing and today, and what was echoed by Ms. Bondi, was obfuscation, denial, and failure to answer the attorney's questions and arguing with the attorney, all of which lead me to believe that they don't believe that there is an issue, that the child has an issue, or that there's going to be any change in the parenting ability or response to the child's fears. My review of the video from December 24 was that was a terrifying incident to the child. The child and all of the children in the home could be heard screaming based on the actions of Mr. Wilson. Now, I can believe that was I might be convinced at some point that was a one-off. But his continued denial of doing anything at all wrong, his refusal to even answer simple questions like, do you agree or do you disagree with the diagnosis that you were given, his expressed lack of any understanding of what that diagnosis is, and his expressed lack of doing anything to contact the counselor of the child that he was well aware of, doesn't lead me to believe that he's going to take any action at all to correct that behavior. I find it incredibly difficult to understand that much obfuscation and obdurate mental belief. It has been 9 months, and under normal circumstances, I would say 9 months is sufficient for the child's fears to be quelled and to address those issues, to make up with the father, and to have some sort of normalcy back in the home. Ms. Mcmasters indicated that she believes that about 5 or 6 more months, however, is still required to help the child deal with it, because the child, because of the child's young age, is a bit scattered still and doesn't want to focus on those things. It is my belief that the dad and the child both need to deal with these issues. It's clear to me that the dad has not, and it's also clear to me that the child is still trying to. So while the child is dealing with these fears, whether the father believes that they're rational fears or not, they're still the child's fears. They need to be dealt with. The child needs to feel that she's safe at dad's home. That may mean that there is some ongoing additional contact, but right now, until somebody tells me differently, I can't trust Mr. Wilson to do that on his own. It still boggles my mind that he's not willing and has been unable to bring himself to say, I'm sorry, it won't happen again.
I did say that.
Mr. Wilson, I don't believe you. That's as simple as I can make it. Your actions in court and your actions on that video speak louder than your words. And I would hope that someone of your obvious mental faculties would understand that when I'm saying you need to say I'm sorry, that there has to be some behavior that goes with that. Just simply mouthing the words is not enough, and it will never be enough. And if you don't understand that, you just give me another reason to not let your child come back on a full-time basis at this point. So here's what we're going to do. we are going to continue, as Mr. Blumberg requested, the parenting time schedule, the weekends, 3 weekends a month from 10 to 6, supervised. Against my better judgment, I'm going to let Ms. Bondi be the supervisor because I don't think anything else would be workable. I don't believe that the mother and the father can get along well enough. And I think it would simply cause more damage to the child to see them fighting or bickering or going off after each other. I don't think that would be a helpful or healthy circumstance. So I'm going to let Ms. Bondi be the supervisor. Saturdays and Sundays, 10 to 6, 3 weekends a month, as outlined by the referee from the friend of the court. In addition to that, counseling is going to continue with Ms. Mcmasters, and Mr. Wilson can do one of two things. He can either begin counseling with Ms. Mcmasters if she believes that that's appropriate with her, so that she can have contact with him and assess his level of understanding of the child's needs, or he can have counseling with another counselor of his choosing. And then that information can be brought to the court when we have a review hearing in 6 months. Mr. Blumberg, is there any other requests that you would make of the court?
No, Judge. Would you like me to prepare the order reflecting in your ruling?
I will. Let me ask Ms. Robinson if she has anything else that she would like to add at this point.
No, Your Honor.
All right. Please, Mr. Blumberg, contact the clerk's office, get a date for the 6 months review, and set that in your order if you would, please. And then set out the requirements of this, that I have taken the factual findings of the referee and held them in full force and effect for this ruling. And for the reasons stated on the record, have made the ruling that I have and put that in writing as well.
I will
All
do
right,
that.
that's all for today then. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, Judge.
Yeah, Mr. Blumberg, if you contact Jenny Wagner, she'll have the date for you.
Okay, thank you.